Self awareness is one of the most valuable things you can develop. Knowing your patterns, understanding where they came from, being able to name what's happening in real time rather than 6 weeks later. That's not nothing. That's genuinely useful work. But there's a version of self awareness that becomes its own kind of trap. And if you've been doing this work for a while, if you've read the books, done the therapy, understand your attachment style, can trace your triggers back to their origin, and you're still in the same patterns, this is worth looking at closely. Because awareness without something else doesn't close the gap, it just gives you a better view of it. The first thing self awareness gives you is a map. And a map is genuinely valuable. It tells you where you are, it shows you the terrain, it gives you language for experiences that previously had none. But a map is not the territory. You can hold a perfect map of a mountain and still not be able to climb it. You can understand every feature of the terrain, the elevation, the weather patterns, the places where people get stuck, and still find yourself standing at the base, unable to move. Self awareness gives you the map, it doesn't give you the legs. The second thing that happens is that awareness can become a sophisticated form of watching. This is the part that's hardest to name because it looks so much like progress. You notice the pattern activating. You can observe yourself doing it. You might even be able to narrate it in real time. There's that anxious response. There's the familiar contraction. There's the urge to reach out that I know won't help. And then you do it anyway. Because observation doesn't interrupt activation. Your nervous system doesn't slow down because you noticed it. It runs the same program with you watching. This is what I mean when I say awareness without something else keeps you stuck longer. Not because the awareness is wrong, but because awareness alone asks you to be a witness to your patterns without giving you the capacity to actually move through them. And over time, watching yourself repeat something you understand can become more demoralizing than not understanding it at all. The third thing, and this is the most important, is that the something else isn't more awareness. It isn't a deeper framework. It isn't another book or a better understanding of your nervous system. It's experience, specifically new relational experience. Because the patterns you're working with didn't form through understanding, they formed through lived experience, through repeated interactions with the people who are supposed to keep you safe, that taught your nervous system what to expect from closeness. And they change the same way, not by being understood differently, by being lived differently. Your nervous system needs to experience that closeness. It doesn't always end in rupture. That expressing a need doesn't always cost you something. That you can be fully yourself in a relationship and not lose the connection. Those aren't insights, they're experiences, and they have to be lived in relationship, in the body, in real time, not just comprehended. This is what self awareness is pointing you toward, but can't take you to on its own. The map shows you where to go. The journey is something else entirely. And I want to name something directly, because the questions that come up here are real ones. How do you take that risk when fear has stopped you before? How do you know when it's actually safe to trust rather than just familiar? These aren't questions with simple answers, but they're exactly the kind of questions worth sitting with together. If you're at the point where you understand your patterns clearly and you're ready to explore what moving through them actually looks like, I offer free 30-minute clarity calls for exactly that conversation. Not to hand you a formula, but to help you get clear on what the next step looks like for you specifically. The link is in the description. Deeper understanding, real change.